Welcome back to Kettlebells and Cocktails. I'm your host tonight, Niki Brazier, and this is another Focus on Female episode. So I am very excited to have with me tonight Jamie Hagiya. Hey, Jamie.
Hi, thank you for having me. This is so fun.
I know. I love that we are kind of just taking some time. If you're new to the show or new to this portion of the show, I should say, I'm glad to be taking some time to just kind of chat in the same way that we normally do when we do these shows, but about topics that pertain more to women in CrossFit, women in sport, our friends who are women, like just kind of shoot the shit about the things that are important to us and help, I don't know, bring light to different topics or raise up some different voices. And when I thought about some of the things I've been seeing on social media, some chatter about, things that made me be like, oh yeah, as a chick, that makes me makes me feel some kind of way. I thought about you and your pages. So just to start off, for people who may not know you or may not follow you yet, first of all, what the hell are you doing? But second of all, give us a little background on you and your athletic background and kind of how you fell into the CrossFit space where we know and love you today.
Yeah, so I actually started playing basketball at the age of 4. I got put into these leagues, and I actually growing up, I played all different kinds of sports like softball, soccer, every golf, everything, which is really
Golf?
great. Yeah, which I just went yesterday to the driving range. Okay, another topic, but yeah, no, really fun, and I fixed my swing, and yeah, but I do feel
Cool.
like getting into all those things, it kind of opened up my world, and just so I was able to try so many different things, but my first love and passion was always basketball. So I played all through middle school and high school. And when I got to high school, I was playing club and I knew I wanted to play at the collegiate level. Being 5'3" and a Japanese American wasn't super on the radar of everyone. And I actually got written off a ton by the recruiting process, but really cool. And this is why I always tell people like, never give up and you just never know. I had 0 offers when I played my last game, in high school, and then I went to this last minute recruiting, weekend, and from there, USC was there, the coaches, and they needed a point guard, and from that one weekend, I got offered a full ride to play basketball at the University of Southern California, and that was my one and only offer, last minute. It was amazing and everything I could have ever dreamed of and more. I did play there for 4 years and got my degree in communication. We made the NCAA tournament in the first time in years. It had been over 10 years since USC had been there. I graduated with a degree, obviously, in communication, and then I went to go play overseas. So I did get to play basketball in Greece, a little bit in Spain. My last thing before I hung up my shoes, I tried out for the WNBA. And when I didn't make that, I found CrossFit. And so actually
Wow.
found CrossFit a couple months before to prepare me for the tryout. And I was hands down in the best shape of my life because of CrossFit, which was really interesting. I've like played and worked out at the highest levels, and my conditioning and my speed, power, explosiveness from CrossFit was like next level. So yeah, when I didn't make the team, I kind of was like I didn't see it as failure. I mean, obviously, I was really sad, but I kind of took that as like, okay, when one door shuts, another one will open. And that's what led me into the CrossFit scene. Started competing, was close every year in 2013, 14, tore my Achilles in 2014. Um,
Oh my God, how
came,
did that happen?
do you remember Grid?
Yeah,
The Grid?
totally.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I was
Yeah.
playing I was playing for the Phoenix Rise, and it was actually their exhibition game in Vegas. And I was doing 30-inch box jump overs as fast as I could. And I went up and I like thought someone kicked me, or put the barbell in my heel. So I looked behind me and I was like, oh, that's weird. There's no one out here. And full tear my Achilles. It was like kind of around the same time, like right after Kobe. So I kind of like he was really inspirational in my journey to get back. I mean, obviously came back and crushed it in the NBA.
Yeah.
But yeah, so and then that kind of like led me to keep on going to make the CrossFit Games one day. And so I ended up making it individually as an individual in 2016 and then on a team in 2018. Fast forward, I'm retired. Own a gym with my sister. I love it. I love our gym. I love the people. I have an online training program, and that's kind of where I'm at. But lots of things to. Sorry if that was long winded, but
No, I
yeah, lots of
love
different
it.
things to go through.
Oh my gosh, so many highs and I feel like I'm hanging on to the story like, "Oh my god, it's the last day of tryouts. What's gonna happen? Oh
Yeah.
my god, she's going for the and now she's in Europe." That's wild. That's
Yeah, so
awesome.
it's
But so
been a
you've been in
crazy journey.
and you've been in, like, this world of sports your whole life, like, sport and team sport and individual sport and, like, on every level from, I feel like, tryouts to practices to whatever. It's like high stress, high tension, like, high stakes
Yeah,
area all the time.
totally. Yeah, and not only I mean, I'm sure we'll get into this, but, like, the pressure of student athletes, like, I don't
Mm.
know if you've seen or, aware of what's going on, but, there have been, like, suicides that have been going on with these
Oh.
women. Yeah, a Stanford soccer player, a softball, a collegiate softball player, I think it's James Madison, and then there was a couple other, and so this, it's just a lot of pressure on all student athletes, but yeah, and I think for me, when I made it to the collegiate level, one other added level of pressure was a lot of people. Some people don't know this, but in California and Southern California specifically, there's a high concentration of Japanese American basketball players and leagues, and this dates back
Oh.
to post World War II when internment camps and so my grandparents were sent to camp, like forced to leave everything, and so when they came back, they were excluded from a lot of like sports and different things. So they created leagues for that. So that's where I started playing and actually learned how to play the game of basketball. And so when I made it to the collegiate level, I was one of the few that had done that. And so the pressure of like the Japanese American community and not letting them down, and I am supposed to be this poster child for them to that I made it, and it did a number on me. And yeah, so after my freshman year, our coach got fired. We had a new coaching staff, and like I mean, obviously, like physically, like for sports, but also the mental game. So my sophomore and junior, I struggled a little bit, and my senior year, I wasn't supposed to play at all. We had the girl I always split time with, and then the number one point guard in the nation coming in. But I was like, you know what? If I'm going to play 2 minutes, I'm going to work my ass off, and I'm going to give it the best I can for those 2 minutes. And thank God I did, because so I tell people, you never know. Girl tore her ACL. One girl broke her hip. I was the only point guard on scholarship and had to play all 40 minutes my senior year. Yeah, and so like it's so sad, and I love them, and I don't wish that on anybody, but you just have to be prepared because you never know what's going to happen. And so because luckily I had prepared for that, I was like, okay, cool. But in the beginning, I was still in my head and doubting myself and all of that pressure on me. And my dad finally was like, you are putting way too much pressure on yourself. Like, go out there and have fun. And once I was able to do that, man, it was like back in my high school days where you're just playing and not thinking, and that's what actually set me up to have a great season and these great numbers to go play overseas, because they want people who can score. So it was it's definitely like the health side, or the mental aspect of it is important in all sports. So
Yeah, oh my gosh, and I feel like that type of mental fortitude, we see it with student athletes and with kids who start playing sports young. I mean, John and I have done a few episodes interviewing some of the, like, teen CrossFit athletes and also their parents, because I feel like it's a really unique mindset and, like, it comes with a very special and dedicated young man or woman who, I don't know, it doesn't feel like the norm, and it seems to truly set you up for the rest of your life. Like, you're not only mentally prepared or physically prepared when it comes to the game you're about to play, but you also, like, check your or cross your T's and dot your I's when it comes to your work life or maybe your
right.
relationships or whatever. But also probably means that you put a lot of pressure on yourself to make everything else. I mean, how perfect is your gym? How clean is your gym, Jamie?
Oh, speaking of that, we just spent the whole weekend, like literally over 15 hours, cleaning our whole entire gym.
I'm sure you did.
Yes, my sister wanted to buy brand new flooring, and guess how much? What would you guess? A 6,500
uh
square foot place. Throw
oh
out a
shit.
number. Yeah, throw out a number for new floors.
Like 2 grand.
They quoted us at 75,000, and then they're like,
No.
yes, and then they were like, oh, okay, but the cheapest one is 25,000, and I was like, what? No! So
Like
we
like stall mats or like floor?
like nice, like like at the high level gyms that have like the so it is
Like they
so
roll
nice and
out,
clean. They
like
roll out.
you're not pulling
Yes.
out like square after square after square.
Yes. So
Got
so
it.
instead of that, we're like, well, why don't we clean the gym and we reorganize things, create more space, make it clean. So we do have horse stall mats, so like the hair and the
Of
mop,
course,
because
of
we're cleaning
course.
extra for COVID. The mop is everywhere and stuck in there. So okay, this is kind of funny. I
Okay.
we tried like scrubbing it up and vacuuming it, didn't pull it up. So I was like,
No,
you
no.
guys, and I put duct tape down and I pulled it up. I was like, oh, this works. And so then we started like duct taping and going around. And my sister's husband was like, you guys are idiots. Like there's industrial size rollers for that because we're on our hands and knees, like almost in like a bear crawl position and doing it like
Oh my
and
god.
yeah. But anyway, so thank God for him. He helps out with so many things and he's so great. So he actually like he's like, here's the link to this. You guys should buy this to save your backs. But anyways, yeah. So
Yeah,
we
worth it, worth it.
yes, yes, yes. But yes, we just cleaned up our gym now.
So I'm right. So that type of mentality, it transfers over into a lot of other things.
And there's so many things like these teenagers that are competing, like it teaches you so many life lessons of time management. You have to prioritize things, you have to get your schoolwork done. I'm sure for these kids that are still in high school or college that are still trying to do it. And just like responsibility, teamwork, like so many things that help you out in life that go way beyond sports when you're done playing.
I'm curious to know, did you feel any of that pressure as a Japanese American when you started also competing in CrossFit? Because there is not that much diversity. It's unfortunate, but there's really not. And you're kind of holding it down for the Asian Americans out there. I mean, there aren't many other especially women in the field.
Yeah, and this is Asian American there's heritage celebration for this month. And so like I was asked to give a quote to one of another group and I did say like representation matters. It is
Yeah.
so important and I say that because growing up I there was one Japanese American girl who was literally 5 feet tall and she played at UCLA and her name was Natalie Nakase. And I went in high school and watched her play. And for me to see her out there, this tiny little thing, so aggressive, I was like, if she can do it, so can I. And I really
Mhm.
believed in myself. And so for me, like when I got into the CrossFit space, like honestly, my gym owner or the guy that we opened the gym with, Dan, he was like, you remind me of Elise Umeda. And Elise is like a crazy I don't know how many times she's gone to the games, like over for sure 5 or 6, 7. From 808 from Hawaii, and she was a former basketball player at Princeton, and her teammates all played basketball. And so yeah, and like Chris Glover and
Yep.
China Cho, and so like, and it is funny. I will get messages like, oh man, like being an Asian American, just representing us in the sport of CrossFit is nice to see out there.
Yes.
So yeah, and so not so much pressure in the CrossFit space, I guess, because once I got there, I was like, I'm just doing my thing, and that's great. I hope people can see that. Yes, it doesn't matter what ethnicity you are, hard work and dedication, you can make it. So, but yeah, very cool to hear any when people reach out in that
I love
sense.
that. So Jamie, one of the things that made me think about asking you to come on and do one of these episodes with me was I really love the messaging that you put out on your Instagram page when you talk a lot about kind of the journey you've been on with your diet and your lifestyle and the changes that your body has gone through over the years. And I think that sometimes people really shy away from talking about the ups and downs. You know what I mean? You kind of only see people's best days out there online. You
Right.
kind of are like only seeing like the abs or the
Mhm.
like, I've lost however many pounds, and the stories are great. Don't get me wrong. And I appreciate them. And oftentimes those people are changing their lives for the better in more ways than just one. But I just think it's nonlinear. And personally, I'm living in a season of life where I am heavier and I am postpartum and I am, as much as I'd love to be 10 pounds lighter, like it's not really a priority right now. Or if it is, it's not really getting done. So I I love that you're honest and you're open and you seem really I don't know, like you're willing to give life a shot and the way that it goes. And you kind of you're talking about hard work and dedication and how you can make a difference in your body or in your life when you want to, and how sometimes it's not the case. And I would just love to hear from your perspective, like, first of all, explain that journey a little bit, and second of all, just how and why you kind of are out there with those messages.
So, first of all, congratulations to you. You
Yeah,
posted
thank you.
your bar muscle up. That's
I did it!
huge, huge,
I
huge.
did
That's
it! I did it!
amazing. Post
And
baby, like
10 pounds heavier than pre-baby, so that means I'm stronger than I was.
amazing, amazing.
Mhm.
That mom strength, is it a real thing?
100%.
Okay. And I'm sure you're sleep deprived and just,
Oh, yeah,
I
what
would
is
love to
sleep?
hear some of your
I
stories.
don't even know what is sleep. No.
um yeah, so I understand, like, I mean, if you of all people understand, like, my body was like this and now it's like this,
Yeah.
and I haven't had a baby, one day hopefully, but yeah, I've always been self-conscious of my body, and maybe, you know what I mean, and culturally too, like, speaking on this Asian American thing, like, my sister's 100 pounds, you know, and
Yeah.
I'm around 150, like 50 more pounds is significantly higher than a lot of my friends growing up. So I was always like, big Jamie. If there's little Jamie, there's big Jamie. You know what I mean? And it's not, yeah. So
Oh, no. It
I know,
doesn't help the little girl's, like, psyche growing up.
I
"Oh, here comes
know.
big Jamie." Like, Jesus, guys, come on.
Right? And I think, like you said, things back in the day you don't even think of because it's just like, oh yeah, you know, we don't think twice about that, how that's gonna affect you
Right.
growing up and all that. So I have always been self-conscious and aware that I am bigger. I am just not built petite and tiny like all my friends and family. And so, like in high school, I struggled with, you know, like trying to lose weight and things like that, but also playing sports. Fortunately, in basketball, we have baggy pants and baggy, like, so it's not really, your body isn't totally out there.
Oh,
And then
right,
when
yeah,
I
you didn't play volleyball like I did where you wore, like, half-inch booty shorts. Yeah. Fun, so fun for me. Love that.
yeah, yeah, and that's actually why I didn't play in high school, because I was like, "Those are the shorts you wear?" No, which is funny
Fair.
now because I
I get
am
it.
like,
Well,
yeah,
right, of course, now we're all
right.
naked all the time, but
Yeah,
whatever, whatever. At
exactly,
that time,
exactly.
yeah.
Yeah, so, so I think once I got into the CrossFit space, I it was one of the things I totally remember was seeing Camille LeBlanc, you know, and her body type, you know, she had like she was shorter in stature, like a little bit more muscular, and I was like, wow, like, again, representation, someone who looks like you. And I was like, and everyone's praising her for her body so beautiful, and I was like, that's really, really cool, and like made me feel a lot more confident in myself and my body. Fast forward, I met her years later, and I was like, oh, she's a lot smaller than, like,
Right, right,
not
right, yes.
Melanie, but
Still very petite, but
yeah,
I
like,
hear what you're saying.
yeah, but like so muscular and strong, and I love her body. But then, so it was great for my body image and my self confidence when I first got into it. And then we fast forward to like the games and like the level of like, and these women, and they work their butts off, you know what I mean? And they're on their nutrition and they're on all these things, which is great. So like, but for me, I don't have a six pack. I was just eating. I actually was eating like crap, and like, so everyone's like, "How did you even make it?" I was like, "I don't know." I really
I have
like
no idea.
cupcakes and Oreos and all these, you know. And but I was really aware of it when I went to the 2016 the Reebok training grounds camp. They invited us out before the games. It's a great way to meet like some of the other people you're going to compete against, and just in a friendly, fun, hardworking environment. And I remember we were running the Blue Hill. So anyone who is like knows Ben Bergeron and they know this, it's a
Oh,
ski
yes.
slope.
I live very close to
Yes.
the Blue Hills, yes.
Okay. Have you ran it?
No, hell no, are you kidding me? I've stood at the bottom of it and been like,
Oh, okay,
"No,
got it.
no, no."
Yeah, so we went out and we ran that, and I have always been like I don't take off my shirt really at the gym because or you know when I work out because I'm like, oh, my stomach and these things like that. But it was so hot and I was like, I don't care. I took it off. We did all that stuff. At the end we took a picture, and I'm in between Katrin and Jen Smith, who have these crazy washboard abs, and I remember like thinking like, I don't look like them. Like it made me feel terrible about myself and my body, and like, do I even belong
Mm.
here? And I didn't have a blog at the time or anything. So I just kind of like took some time after that to regroup and really think about, cause we were supposed to get ice cream and I was like, no, I shouldn't, you know? And it was just like I don't know, it was kind of sad, but I thought about it and I was like, man, just because I don't look like these other athletes, like doesn't mean I don't belong here, or I'm not as, you know, athletic, or, you know, as good as these women. So I kind of put it out there that, you know, this is my body. I'm, as for me, like, performance is more important for aesthetics in CrossFit. So even though I don't look like everyone else, like, that doesn't mean I don't belong here, and I don't deserve to be at the CrossFit Games. So that kind of like was the start of like that in 2016. And you know, like I had heard I love the last episode I listened to you guys. So Joy and Claire.
Well,
Yeah. And it was
yeah.
really great. Like, but yeah, it is tough. Like you guys talked about like criticism and getting this feedback, and people
Mhm.
think that it doesn't affect you or it doesn't bother you. Like, and when people comment like, oh, you're chubby or you're fat or I'm like, oh my gosh, like I think through the years I've like got thicker skin of it. Who are they? I feel sorry for them if that's what they
Yeah, of
have to do,
course.
but yeah, in the beginning, and it does, like, it hurts a little bit.
Yeah.
So yeah, so that's that. But I do feel like I'm at a better place where, like, I love to work out, I love to eat, it's part of like who I am. I love to go to dinners and desserts and all that kind of stuff. So like in moderation, that's okay. That's who I am.
Yeah, and I think I also love that you have, like, sometimes you're really dialed in, and sometimes you have, like, before and after photos, but they always look so real to me. They always look so like, "Yeah, girl, like, you had a thing, like, you have a competition coming up and you wanna dial it in, and you leaned out like a normal person would lean out over the course of 3 months." Not this, like, "Oh my god, you went from, like normal person status," which I think is what your average, like, happy walking around weight is, like, fit as hell and, like, looking great, to, like, leaner and looking great. And I love that you're also real about that when you have, like, a period of time in your life. You're like, "Yeah, it's cool to go out and have desserts all the time. It's also cool if I wanna, like, dial it in for a couple months, and, like, and here's what that journey looks like," you know?
Right. And I think there was a couple points of when I had gained weight. I right after the 2018 games, in 2019, uh, my career as an athlete, like I felt like me playing basketball from middle school, high school, college, professionally overseas, I thought I was done. And I was like, okay, it's time for me to enter the real world, and get a job and figure out life. And
Ugh,
then
sounds
getting,
terrible.
yeah. And then I know, right? And then getting into CrossFit, it extended my life, like my career as an athlete for another 8 years. And so where I was like focused on working out, and that's my job, is just make the CrossFit games, and well, and luckily my sister and Dan were great at running the gym, and Jamie, you focus on training. So then when I was finally done in 2018, after that, it was this weird feeling. Like it happened twice. After the 2016 CrossFit games, you're on this high, high, high. And then it was almost like a low I hit. Like nothing made me happy because my endorphins were so jacked up from like being at the CrossFit games, and in one weekend, over. And
Wait,
so
can I just tell you that it's like that for me too, or it always had been before, even just working on the broadcast, because you're in this, like, such high pressure environment, and it's like you live in a bubble. For people that don't, like, either compete or work in that environment, it's really hard to describe, but it's like literally all that is important for days and days and days on end is is the competition, is the for me, the
right.
broadcast, is
Yeah.
the environment, is the thing. And then it's like that's all it is, and you're dialed in and you're dedicated, and 24 hours a day you're worried about it, and then you do it, and you go home at night, and then you, like, watch the replay, the thing from
Yes.
the day, and then you do it again. You wake up at 5 a.m. to do it again, and then you get home, and you've been on this roller coaster that's just like, stop.
Yeah.
And I would always have the post games blues where, like, I was back
Ah,
to my life and my job and my mundane whatever, and it always took, like, 2 weeks to get back into, like, "Oh, yeah, I guess this is okay." You know what
right.
I mean?
Yeah.
And I only prep for games for, like, a couple weeks. You're, like, prepping for games for, like, months and months, and it's your whole job, so I can't imagine.
Yeah, but being on like transitioning into broadcasting and getting a little bit taste of it, I'm like, oh, I think your job might be harder than ours. Honestly, I was like,
No.
oh, the stress of it, and like here, there, the schedule, like things
I
change like on
know.
the fly. Like it's
Yeah.
kind of great. Like, for us, we're like, we train, we're gonna go out there and do a workout. You do your thing, you're off. And then you try to relax and recover as fast as you can. You guys,
Oh,
like,
no.
next one, next heat, next heat. I'm like, oh man, and live. And so yeah, I understand why you're on this crazy high, and after you're like,
Yep.
crash and burn. And
Yep,
so
I totally get it.
yeah, so that happened 2016, and then I, got myself out of the funk, and I was like, okay, cool, let's do this team thing. And I went to the games on a team, and great. And then after that, when I was finally like settled, and I was like, I think that's it for me. Then all of that hit, and it's like, what am I doing? Like nothing, your self worth. Like people love me just because I was, made the CrossFit games, or because I played basketball in college, and now I don't have any of that. So who am I? What am I doing?
Mhm.
Why am I important? Why would people care what I'm doing? So I did gain weight after that. I mean, obviously I wasn't training as hard and I was in this space. And then, like kind of figured out, okay. And then the pandemic hit and I gained 18 pounds, like almost,
Yep.
yeah,
Didn't we
easily.
all? Didn't we
Yeah,
all? Yep.
yeah, yeah, and I had my gym, but I was like, "You know what? If all of our members don't get to work out there, I'm not gonna work out there either." So my sister and I really didn't even go in. It was just an empty space. We paid rent, really expensive storage space for all of our equipment. I worked out at home, and, like, it was great, but to move, and I was blessed and lucky that I could, but put on weight. And so
Mhm.
coming out of that again was like a big change, like night and day change,
I
body
think
wise.
that what really gets me, and I think that people don't realize it, is that you and the other ladies that we follow in the sport of CrossFit who go to games, who are such an example for us, like we put you guys on a pedestal and we think like, wow, she really has her shit together. She's really like, she's so strong, she's so fit, and she's got this great career. And like, it took me a long time of working in broadcasting, getting to know the athletes to understand that you guys think just like us. Like, you guys look at a workout on paper and you're like, "Oh shit, I don't think I can do that." Just the way that we do. Or like you step
Yeah.
out onto the competition floor and you're scared of what you're about to do, just the way we are when we walk into the gym. Or that you feel self-conscious about your body and you go through these weight fluctuations just like the rest of us weekend
Oh,
warriors do. You know what I mean? Like,
absolutely. And like you've seen it, you've been around it. Like at regionals in the back when you're preparing, or like the semifinals before that event, people are freaking out and like, I
mhm.
don't think I could do this. You talk to your friends, you're self doubt, like I can't do this, and then you just go out there. You know what I mean? And then things change, and you just let all your training take over. But oh, for sure, freaking out about that, and that's why like for me, like to be honest, I'm kind of like some of the pictures because I had gained quite a bit of weight, and people were talking about it and didn't tell. I mean, they were like, "Oh man, should we like talk to Jim?" Because you just, but it
Oh,
wasn't even like I just wasn't happy. My like clothes did so. Not only is it like how I looked, my clothes didn't fit. My back hurt. I was lethargic. I was tired. So there's so many different layers to not only like the way I look. Yeah, I wasn't happy with that, but the other health part of that, so I think that's way more important than even like the
of
way I
course.
look, like thought I looked.
Of
Yeah,
course.
my first workout back, I was in so much pain, back squatting 85 pounds out of the rack. Yeah, because I had gained so much weight. And then fast forward, I had done, my jam at the training and just kind of got back in my routine. And then like months later, I was able to squat 300 for a double. And I was like, this is crazy. Like my health and my body, I was holding on to all of that and just so unhealthy for me in so many different aspects. But yeah, so I think people don't realize like your what personal well-being really plays a lot into like weight gain too, like holding on to all that.
Oh yeah, totally. There's so much more that goes into, and look, like I feel like there's probably, if you're listening to this and you're like, you guys are talking a lot about how you look, and like that's not really important. Like that, yes,
Right,
that is actually
right,
true. You're right. But like, I'm not gonna sit here and lie about the fact that like I really do give a shit about how I look, and that's like something in my own head that I need to get over. But that's also like society's pressure on me, and it's the world that we live in. And so like it's healthy to talk about it in a way that is like supportive and uplifting and understanding. And like
right.
that is what is going to help us all get to a point where we can rise above it in our own minds, but we certainly can't ignore it. And I'm certainly not going to pretend like that doesn't exist. So, that being
Yeah,
said,
right, and that just happened. I had posted a before and after picture of, like, me in the pandemic when I was 20 pounds heavier, and then me when I had lost the 20 pounds, and we have to be very aware of, like, what we put out, like you guys were talking about on the podcast before, but, my initial, like, commentary on it or writing on it was, I'm embarrassed to post this, but this is what it was, you know? And then
yeah,
somebody was like, "You should never be embarrassed of like," and I was like, "Whoa, you're right. Like,
yeah,
thank you." And so I did like thank you to whoever wrote that to me because it really made me shift my mind and like because I'm saying, what am I saying? Like, you should be embarrassed if you look like this or if you put on 20 pounds. And I was like, no, you know what? I was like, they're right. And so I went back and I was like, I'm proud of both because my body
Yeah.
allowed me to do so many great things. But in this one, I do feel healthier and better about myself in this version. But proud of all stages of life, like
Yeah.
like post pre baby, like
Yeah. Hell yeah.
yeah, good for you. Like, and I'm sure, like, do you feel like yourself again, or you're getting there, or how?
Yeah, I feel like I'm getting there. I feel like I oftentimes like your body composition changes a lot post baby, and then like you don't have the autonomy or the time to really dedicate to maybe getting back to is a weird way, but like getting to wherever you want to be performance wise, aesthetically, whatever,
Mhm.
because that baby just like takes up your entire time in life for the first however long. I think it's they say 18 years. But um
Maybe
but and
longer.
especially maybe longer, yeah. And especially too if you're like I'm still breastfeeding, so that like that takes up a lot of time and effort and like um energy. Like I'm like way tired all the time because my body's like making milk. But other than that,
Yeah.
I do feel like I'm getting there. I actually feel like I've gotten there and now I feel like I'm sort of plateaued to a point where like in order to like lose the final 10 pounds or like get some sort of core ab situation back or whatever,
Mhm.
like I really would need to not be breastfeeding anymore and I would need to be able to like dedicate more brain power to dialing in my diet. And I'm also always fucking starving because that's what happens when you're breastfeeding. You're just like always hungry. And I like don't have time to make meals. I need to like grab a granola bar and go because like I own a goddamn business. So like,
Yeah, yeah.
but I do. So I feel like I've gotten to like 80% there, and now I'm
Good.
plateaued, and I'm kind of like accepting that plateau for this time being, and
Mhm.
accepting this season of life for what it is, and trying to be happy and comfortable with where I am,
Right.
knowing that it's not forever and I could change it someday when I have a little bit more time. But then also low key, Matt just wants to have another baby, so like. There's
Oh.
a part of me that's like, "Why am I even trying if I'm just
Eh,
gonna get huge again?"
that's what a lot of people say. They're like, "Oh, I lose it, and then I'm just gonna put it back on and have to go through this all over
Yeah.
again." Oh, that's exciting.
But to your point about, like, feeling good, I think it does still make sense to, like, train and be conscious of your diet the way that makes you feel good, even if you are, like, in my situation, like, maybe going to someday get pregnant again, hopefully sooner rather than later, but, like, also who has time to even try to get pregnant when you have a baby? Other than that, I still think it makes sense to train like you are trying to get back to wherever you are because that type of, like, energy output and that type of, like, I don't know, it just it does everything for you. It does everything for you physically and also mentally to, like, clear your head and, like,
Right.
that type of really intense training we do is just, like, we need it. We need it for all of our mental and physical well-being, I feel like.
Yeah, and I literally look at women who are moms, and I don't know how you guys are literally super women
I
to
don't
be
know.
able to take, and especially in the baby phase stage, and like not sleeping and breastfeeding and trying to work your job and work out and have some time for yourself, and so yeah, that you guys are literally super women.
There is no time for myself. You know those memes that are like me, I should really go to bed at 9 PM, and then, like, me at 11:30 in bed still scrolling the same, like,
Yeah.
bullshit that I've been scrolling for 45 minutes. That's what it is because it's like, you have no time for yourself, and so you're like, "Oh my god, this is the only, like, moment I can shut my brain off," and you just, like, live in scrolling through nothing because
Yeah,
it's
or
just
trash
stupid.
TV.
Totally, totally.
The
Same
best.
shit, same
Yeah,
shit.
yeah.
I love, like the Great British Baking Show. I love, like, TV that is, like, peaceful because my life is so not.
Oh, yeah, so it's not. I've been watching Food Network, and I was like, "This is just," I which makes me hungry, but then, like, it's
Yes,
just so,
right.
and I'm a terrible cook, I can't cook anything, so I'm like, "Wow, these people are so talented, how do I do that?" And that's probably why also, like, I don't meal prep, I don't like to cook, and so, yeah, I gotta figure it all out. Lots to take out.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
But,
But that's
but
fine.
yeah, but speaking on that, like, hormones too for women, like, I
Totally. Oh my gosh.
and that's another thing I'm like, I just turned 37 in April, and I'm like, my metabolism's slowing down, or what is it? Because I cannot get this off. It's like stubborn weight that will stay on. So yeah, everyone's like, maybe you should get all your levels checked and all that kind of stuff. So maybe that too.
Yeah. No, I think that's an important part of it. There's a lot going on in our bodies physically, and I feel like too when you're at the peak of your training, your hormones are doing something totally different that can or
Oh, yeah.
cannot sort of like inhibit the way that processes in your body are supposed to go. So it's like,
Right.
man, we're always fighting something. We're fighting some shit, like hormonally, and no matter how fit we are or unfit we are, or like pre-baby, post-baby, like there's always some bullshit we're dealing with. And men have it so easy. They do.
Yeah, and like I will say also like when I post any body positivity things, like I know as women, like society has so many standards and all these things we're trying to reach, but I didn't realize when I started posting that the men that would reach out and would say I have insecurities and so yeah, it really, I
Tell
was like,
me.
really? Like, I had no idea, like, that, like, even stories about like going to pool parties and things and wanting to wear a shirt, because their chest isn't as big as these other guys or their abs aren't like that. So it is on both sides. And I was like,
Mhm.
man, that it's sad, like that's like what people feel. But I do feel like it's people that are so like confident and body positive. It does help to see them like, cool, if they can be like that the same, like I can be a little proud of my body too. So yeah,
Yes.
it was interesting to see a male perspective on that as well.
That's awesome. So, yeah, please keep posting that stuff because clearly it's helping people on both
Yeah.
sides.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna bring this up. This is very embarrassing.
Bring it up. I'm so excited.
Oh man, this like literally might be like top 2 embarrassing thing that's ever happened in my life, maybe the top 1. Um I the other day was working out and I had a CrossFit Games like Reebok sports bra on that's like a triangle bikini top.
Okay.
And I didn't know, but my boob popped out. And
Amazing.
I'm
Amazing.
working out. I had no idea until later at night. I like, my friend was filming and I was like, because it was, we're filming the workout and I was like, oh my God, I think my boob popped out. And she's like, I didn't see anything. I was like, okay, cool. And I'm like working out next to this guy at my gym. And I go home at nighttime and I look at the film and I was like,
No.
yes, Nikki,
No. Are you
Nikki.
kidding me?
Not
Like,
even like a Janet Jackson nip slip. And I was like, oh my God, I'm sorry. Out, doing muscle ups with my boob out, hanging out. And I was like, oh my God. Like so embarrassed. Anything more embarrassing because I didn't even know until I saw it nighttime on my video. And so then I was like, oh shit, I'm so embarrassed. I was like, I'm so sorry. Like, I don't know. And then I like posted this thing like, oh my God, I had a Janet Jackson wardrobe malfunction. And so like, but it was kind of funny because I was like, please, like, tell me if you have any stories or like anything else to make me feel better. This has happened to other people. And these comments,
no. No.
I,
Other people had like full on boob flapping in the wind during muscle up situations.
and down there is like out,
Oh,
like
okay. Okay. How do you not feel that?
okay. See,
No,
everyone said
hold
that.
on.
Everyone
Yeah.
said that, but I was like, if you're in a workout and like I'm racing this, I'm like, dude, I'm gonna get 20 muscle ups. I don't care. Like, no, I didn't. I mean, I was like, I think it came up. I wasn't sure. Like, yeah, isn't that? So I was like, speaking on like, being women and things like our bodies and things like that. I was like, oh man, this is crazy. I was like, this has never happened to me. But
I'm dead. I'm
yeah,
dead.
but these story. Wait, okay, I have to share. Can I just share a couple
Please,
stories that people
please bring it
commented?
on. I'm so excited.
Okay, one woman was like, I was coaching the sumo deadlift high pull, and I'm like telling them to keep the bar close. And when I kept it close, I pulled my whole top and bra down in front of the class. And I was like,
Oh,
I was like, oh my God, I'm sorry. And then listen to this one. And if you go on my Instagram, you can read the comments. I was like, oh my God. Someone was doing toes to bar. And she's like, my pants split in the crotch, and I
no,
was going commando.
no. Like you do at the gym, which is the only way to go, but that's a
Oh,
discussion for
yeah,
another time.
totally. Okay. And she's doing toes bar, and the coach is like, stop, like, and she's like, she thought he was saying no rep, no rep. So she's like, these are good reps. And she kept on going. And he had to like, she said he had to pull her down off the rig and tell her. And she said that they call
Oh
it like
my
the
God.
Taco Tuesday incident. Dude, I was like, oh my God, these are funny, but these are probably stories that like, that's why with all this stuff, like body positivity, like embarrassing things that happen, this happens to everybody. I'm sure these people have
Absolutely.
like, oh my God, like I holding this secret in or only told a select few, but I'm like, oh yeah, like, oh my, it's wild. I was like, "Oh, thank God I feel a little bit better."
Wow.
Guys too. Guys were like,
Oh,
"Oh, yeah, my stuff is hanging out." I was like, "Oh, man."
okay, so, like, that I can imagine happening way more often because, like,
Yeah?
they have more to hold in, and I just feel like the
Yeah.
proper undergarments matter. Like, I think
Yeah.
it's hilarious. My best friend Whitney takes photos for the gym often because she's, like, a very accomplished photographer, and
Okay.
I feel like she knows, like, she'll, like, rapid fire take shots of people, like,
Yeah.
during double unders or doing, like, toes to bar or whatever, and she, like, knows the exact moments that she can't post. She's like, "The downswing of the junk during a double under," or, like, "The legs up touching the bar photo," with, like,
Oh
it's
my
just
god,
full on
that's
taint,
so
just
fun.
taint in your face. Like, men, women, it's never a good shot no matter what. So now she knows where to stand, and she knows,
Okay.
like, the timing she needs to, like, take
Oh
the proper
my
shot.
god,
So it's
that's
not just, like, a dude
funny.
coming, like, down from a double under where his feet touch the ground, but his junk has not yet made it into the downward motion, and it's just, like, up. She's like, "Yeah,
Oh
I
god.
can't post that."
Oh, yeah, no, and thank God she's a great photographer and doesn't.
Right, right.
Yeah, somebody was like, "Oh, like, I was competing in a competition, my boob popped out on kettlebell swings," and they posted it in part of the video the next
"Oh,
day.
no.
Yeah,
Oh,
so I
no."
was like, "Oh," but it made me wonder, I was like, at the CrossFit Games, I was like, it was a CrossFit Games top, like a little triangle, and mine ripped. I, like, love it so much, and, like, it ripped down, so it's probably
Aw.
my fault. But I was like, "This doesn't happen at the games more often?" Like, say the leader has a malfunction of something because 'cause you're working out hard, and you don't
Right,
that's the last thing you care about is what's covered because 'cause you're just
right.
trying to win. And I was like, "If they're the leader and something's out, like, you can't have the camera on them, or can you?
What would
This
we
is a report."
do?
Yeah, yeah,
Wait,
yeah.
what would
You
we do? Because, like, we always follow the leader. Like, we had the story we have to tell. Like, we're be missing, like, serious sports moments if we don't.
Yeah. So, like, do you pull the camera off them? Does
What
the
would we
judge stop
do?
them? Like,
No, judge can't stop them. What in the world would we do? We'd probably just take, like, a wide shot of the floor, I guess, and keep talking about whatever we've been
yeah,
talking
but it really made
about.
me
I don't
wonder.
know.
I was like, "Oh, I wonder what like, has this never happened?" We'll have to check in with people on broadcast.
Not that I can think of.
Good, good, good.
Huh.
And all their clothes did their job.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, yeah,
Maybe we need to get you a new games sports
yeah.
bra situation.
I need to retire those. I need to stop wearing them.
Yeah, yeah.
But they're just, yeah, my favorite.
That's so funny. I love it. I
Yeah,
love sharing embarrassing moments like that. Well, that's just it. Is like you need to, like, be out there with your good moments and your bad moments, and that just makes you real, and that makes you, like, sort of this pillar of our community, and people can, like, rally around, like, shit that's happened to them too, or the way that their body is and how they feel about it. I wish I had, like, a super embarrassing moment to share. I can't think of one. It's not coming to
really.
top of mind. No, I will say that, like, when I was pregnant, I was, like, real gassy all the time. My husband Matt will say that I'm gassy all the time anyway, but it was
Yeah.
extra bad when I was pregnant, and there would be times where I'd be at the gym where I'd be like, I can't lift this right now, like, I'm gonna
Okay.
toot myself out of this room. It's not
Yeah.
okay. I just wait for them to turn the music up and then
Oh,
kinda
there
let
you
her
go.
rip, but that was
Yeah,
me,
and then you don't know who it is, like, it's loud.
No, and then I
Yeah.
feel like if I was ever caught, I was like, I mean, I am growing a human, so I
Yeah.
can fart all over this gym if I want to.
Totally.
Let
You
it
can do
happen.
whatever you want. Whatever you yeah, comes out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's why I do feel like I'm like, "Oh, yeah, like, other people this happens to other people," so
Yeah.
and literally the only I was so embarrassed, the only thing I can do is, like, kinda joke about it, like, I mean, there's nothing else
Yeah.
I could do, so, yeah. Anyways,
Did you
so
end
what
up
happened?
texting the guy that was working out next to you and being like, "I'm
Yeah.
so sorry I had a nip slip."
Yeah, I was like and I sent a little gif of Janet Jackson. I was like, "I'm so sorry for this moment." And I was like, "Thank God we're friends." Like, I've known him for years, so I was like, what if it was a drop-in? What if it was, like, during class, like, and a whole bunch of people saw, but I was like
Well, that drop-in should feel lucky that he was graced with the presence of your nipple. God.
So everyone like, I walked in the gym today, and they're like, "What's up, Nipsey?" Like, I was like, "Oh my god." I was like, "I can't." And yeah, so it's just, things happen at the gym,
Yeah,
and we just gotta
yeah,
roll with it. And
you
and that's what
do.
and then some people were like, "You should be proud of your body, like, free the nipple." Like, oh. I was like, yeah, but I think in a workout, like, I don't know if you want to
Yeah.
see it doing muscle ups swinging around.
Yeah, it's a little aggressive. Listen, as someone who now has her nipples out in public
Oh, see, yeah.
constantly,
Yeah,
and I,
yeah.
like, give 0 shits about who sees them and
Okay.
who doesn't,
Yeah.
even I still during a workout would be like, I
Oh,
apologize for
yeah.
being out here totally
Yeah, because there
naked,"
were
if
women that
y'all
couldn't
weren't
fit.
here for that, you know?
Yes, yes, yes. But you feel a little bit more confident in your body because I mean, it's a natural thing, and
Yeah.
you yeah.
I just feel like I don't give a shit. I feel like once you have a baby, you don't give a shit about anything. Like how many people have now seen up and into my vagina and how many people have seen my nipples out in public and like it's not hot. No one's like oogling my breastfeeding. So it's just like
Yeah.
I'm here, I'm doing it, I'm feeding the baby.
Right.
Just let's all just move on from it. And it's like I don't even care. Like I have like 4 or 5 different nursing covers that I bought when I was pregnant. Like
Yeah, yeah,
this is gonna be so cute, and I'll just like
yeah.
cover the baby. And now every time we're out, Matt's like, "Do you want a nursing cover?" And I'm like, "Nah, I'm good. Don't worry about it. Just let him free."
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you have to breastfeed so, like, often.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And it's a pain in the ass to try to like work fabric, and then the baby's covered, and it's like hot, and now like I don't give a shit anymore.
Oh,
It's
man.
totally fine. It
Yeah.
doesn't. You'll
Again,
see. You'll
Superman.
see. If y'all see me out at
Superwoman.
semifinals, you'll probably also see my nipples, and I don't care. I don't
Yeah,
care.
which, by the way, that's amazing. Is this your first one back since having the baby?
Yes.
How are you
Yes.
feeling?
Because you covered for me at Wadapalooza. Thank
Yeah.
God for you. Oh my
Oh,
God, Jamie. You
oh my
saved
god.
like my entire soul because I felt I've never ever pulled out of a competition, let alone pulled out of a competition like the week beforehand. And I was like, I felt like I had lost my way in the world. I was like, who am I? This has never happened before. I don't even know what to do. And then when they told me that you were coming in, it was like, it just felt, I felt like you saved me. I felt
Oh,
like I was
man.
like, Jamie's coming in and everything's gonna be taken care of, and I don't have to worry about whatever, and I was thank you so much for stepping
No,
in.
like
Oh my
and I know you felt bad, and then this is another thing in society, like, you know what I mean? Because we have to like, you know what I mean? We think of everyone else before ourselves, you know, but in
yeah,
this
you
situation,
gotta
like,
take care of it. Yeah,
this is your family, like, you
totally.
can't, like, and so, like, everyone understood
Yes, they
1,000%, and they're
did.
like, "Go, Nikki, you made the best decision for you and your baby and your family."
I didn't have a
So, yeah,
choice.
good for you, and yeah, and I got that call, and I was like, "Oh my god, really?" Like, "Okay," like, I was so, like, grateful that they picked me to do it, and kinda got thrown into the fire and got
Yup.
a taste of it, and I had a great time, but a lot of learning lessons learned, and just yeah, so and you were so great. I
You
reached out to you.
oh, yep.
Yeah, and I was like, "Any tips, anything?" And you're so great, and we're like, "Yeah, be yourself, be you."
Yeah.
Yeah, so
And you
thank you for that.
crushed it. And
Oh, thank you.
how was that? Like, how does it feel now stepping into sort of like the broadcast role and being on the stream? And you've had a few different roles, like you've done like color commentary and you've been on the sidelines and podcasting now. And like, how does it feel? I don't know, kind of being back in the sport in a different area?
Yeah, I always had thought I wanted to get into, like, some type of broadcast, commentary, and so, when the opportunity
Rose? Rose?
Okay.
Yeah,
Sorry, grammar,
yeah,
please.
yeah.
I jumped on it because, of course, like, I love the sport, I love the community. If I'm not competing anymore, this is a great way for me to still
Yeah.
be involved in it. So my first gig was at the games as a field reporter. So it was amazing. I got to go around and show the different vendor village and all that stuff, the food, the food village.
Food's
And so then
important, very important.
yeah,
Acai bowls for life.
yeah, and then after that, I Wadapalooza. Oh, I did get to do color commentary on the German Throwdown last year. That was
Yeah.
online, and so that was kind of cool because I was like, oh, there's an analyst, and then the color commentary, and so it's different roles. Like the play by play is one person, and then the person that's color commentary, you speak on your experiences as an athlete being out there and what there maybe some insight to that. So that was different too. And then when I had to fill in for you, then that was the more on the field live reporting, interviewing, which was really great too. And I was kind of freaking out at first. I really, because I was like, yes, immediately. And then I was like so self-doubting. I was like, what did I just
No.
sign up for? I can't do this. Oh my gosh, I don't know. I can't do it. I can't do it. And then, the broadcast team is
The best.
clearly the
Best
best in
team.
the business. They set you up. So like, hey, you're gonna do this, you're gonna do that. I'm like, great. And so then yeah, it did, but like the self-doubt crept in and I was like, okay, same thing. Like you got to go out there and do it. You
Yep,
pretend like fake it till you make it. Like you've been out
totally.
here before. And so, yeah. And I ended up having a great time. Like the athletes are so nice, and yeah, so it definitely was a great experience, and I'd love to do more of it. I am going to be doing it at Granite Games. I know you're doing the first two, so I will be watching
Yay!
you, cheering
Yep.
on you,
Likewise, likewise.
and then
Do you
yeah, and
have
then
a
follow up.
do you have a favorite role, do you think, of all of them so far?
Ooh,
They are very different.
yeah, yeah, and I went to this USC alumni association thing, and I ran into Matt Leinart. So he played quarterback. He was a Heisman Trophy winner, and now he played in the NFL, and then he transitioned to he's in broadcast now. And so I was kind of talking to him about it, and he was like, he's like, Jamie, if you can diversify as much as you can, like
Yes.
do everything, and one, you'll get to see what you like. Two, like then you'll always like find a role or something. You know what I mean? And it's just a great opportunity. And so I love like each different role for different reasons. I don't know. I don't have a favorite. I kind of like, and so I'm so new. So I feel
Yeah.
like I'm starting all over again in this like, what am I doing? But it's so fun and exciting. And I feel like anything that scares you is good for you. It is pushing you out of your comfort zone.
Yep.
Good. That's what I kind of took it. I was like, I'm growing from
Yep.
this, and I'm going to
Yep.
learn from this. And so that's was really great. And I do like am excited to keep on going. And I did hear you talk because you come from a news anchor background.
Yep.
How many years were you in that?
Like 10, almost 10.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I heard you talking about it's not as glamorous as people
Oh, it
think.
blows.
And
It blows.
really?
Yeah, it
Really?
was the worst thing ever. Don't ever nobody ever go into news. It's just sad because journalism, like, isn't what it once was, and there's definitely, like, a golden age of journalism where people were, like, really doing it for the right reasons, and sensationalism, like, wasn't really a thing,
Mm-hmm.
and it's just not like that anymore. But in general, you're right. Like even what we do, even when we do like, live sporting streams, it's not very glamorous. It's like 14 hours a day and you've like sweat through every outfit that you brought. And it's like very high stress and probably someone has yelled at you that day. And like you just put a lot of pressure on yourself to do it right too. So it's like,
Right.
but it's much better than TV news.
Yeah, so I was kinda actually thinking about it. I was like, "Oh, man," 'cause I mean, you have both, like, perspective and experience in both. So for me getting into this, like, I only know amazing, nice, kind humans who like want to help you out and are so great and aren't judgy and like you need to
Right.
look this way and wear this and you can't say this and you wrong, 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 wrong. So I'm like in this position where I'm like everyone's so uplifting and wants to help me
Yes.
and wants to see me succeed. So
Yes.
I'm like, I think I felt really blessed that this is the way I'm getting into it. Like just hearing about other, like having to fit in or do this
Yeah.
or different things like that. But yeah, so like for my first experience and getting into it, like I couldn't ask for a better way than this CrossFit space and CrossFit broadcasting.
You just wait, Jamie, until we do reporter boot camp at games.
Oh, I'm excited about this.
Oh, you
Or
sweat
should I be?
now. No,
No, no,
no, no. I
no.
don't think we did it last year, but we do it almost every year, where
Please
we get
explain.
so we get to games like a day early, and then
Okay.
we usually have reporter boot camp where Rothy collects clips from us from throughout the season
Oh.
and we all sit in a room together and he gets a
Oh.
projector out and he puts us up on the big screen and it's all of
Oh.
us in like yeah from the streams and different events and he's just like he goes like start stop see what you said there don't say that start stop
Oh.
who knows what Niki said wrong here or like start stop what hand are you holding the microphone in and it's like everyone
Oh.
gets roasted at different points in time and so it is actually a great big love fest but if you're anything like me and you don't really love watching yourself back. It's like just very cringy because you're like,
Oh,
oh,
same.
and
Same.
you'll remember that moment yourself. Like it'll be like, me on the screen interviewing you, and I already know in my head that I fucked up that interview. So I'll remember it for life, if I mess it up. And then
Yeah.
when it comes on the screen, I'm like, oh, I know exactly what he's gonna say.
Oh
Oh,
gosh.
yeah.
Okay.
So fun.
Okay.
So fun.
Oh, not
But it makes you better. It is only in a supportive environment, even though he's like roasting us, it is only like a love fest, but it does help you grow because sometimes until someone in a professional setting points that kind of stuff out, you can't like see it for
Mhm.
yourself or see it
Mhm.
from an outsider point of view, or you don't really like internalize it to the point where you write it down and it never happens again. So
Right. And me being so new, I'm like I want constructive criticism, and I think that is
Exactly.
one thing that I took from being an athlete, like, you know what I mean? I've had hard coaches on me and, like, did all kinds of, things to, like, get the
Mhm.
point and hammer the point in, so I was like, "I think I can handle this, hopefully." But I was like, "Please, like, help me out. I do wanna get better. I do wanna grow. I wanna know what is right and wrong." Like, even, like, how you stand when you're interviewing somebody.
Yep.
You have tips on that?
Proudly, but don't slouch. I have, like, shit
Oh.
posture, and I swear to God, every time I look at myself on camera, I look like the Hunchback of Notre Dame. I'm like, "Oh god, why am I standing like that?" Also, I don't know if you do this, but I like to stand like Superwoman, like, with my legs, like, really far apart.
So that's when it made me think of that, because I posted a picture of me, interviewing a group at Palooza. My legs are, like, kind of, I mean, not super wide, but like wider. And they're like, "Oh," someone had commented, like, "You should stand with your feet together." I was like, "Oh, is that a thing?" Like, "Oh, okay." Like, but and it's funny. I look now, watch, like, sports anchors and different, like, when they're interviewing everybody, and I do pay a lot of attention to the
Yep.
questions they ask, what they, you know what I mean, and all that stuff. But yeah, there's so much that goes on the
Yeah.
behind the scene, and just, that goes into it, that I'm like, "Oh, are these unwritten rules, or like, should someone tell me that?"
No, they're not unwritten rules. I just always, like, I get photos of myself afterwards, and I'm like, "Why am I in such a power stance? Like, who am I
You're
trying
a
to, like,
boss.
I'm boss ladying really hard in all of my interviews, and
Good.
sometimes it just looks like I, like, maybe have to poop. I don't know. Sometimes I just look very uncomfortable in my very wide stance. I'm like, "Ugh, I guess I'll remember to just tone it down a little, bring the feet in just a tiny." But that's just
There.
me.
Okay, okay, just a
Yeah,
little bit. So, like, they don't
yeah.
have to be together, but
No,
okay, 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 got it, got it.
no, there are
Okay.
no rules. There are no rules about that.
Yeah, yeah. And how do you feel about going to do the first one is coming up this weekend?
It's coming up this weekend. I'm totally panicking, if I can be honest, but I'm
Yeah.
gonna just fake it until I make it. I feel
Good.
like I'm really scared about, like, traveling with the baby
Oh,
just
yeah.
because, like, you never I mean, I have the chillest baby in the world. We're so lucky, so easy, but, like, you
Yeah.
just never know how it's gonna go, and I think if we're on a plane and he's, like, uncomfortable or
Mhm.
fussy or something, like, I'm just gonna feel bad for him. Like, I'm still, like, new mom
Yeah.
to the point where when he cries, it just makes me sad and I wanna help him. Like, I feel like your second kid or your third kid, they're crying and you, like, don't even hear it anymore. You're like, "They're fine." But he cries and I'm like, "The baby!" Like,
Yeah.
how can I help? So, I don't really give a shit about the people around me. I know some
Okay.
people are like, "Don't worry if he cries." I'm like, "I wasn't worried about
Oh,
you."
oh, yeah, yeah.
But I will just feel bad for him if, like, traveling is an unpleasant experience for him. But I do feel like once I can get past that, once we can get there, then, like, like, my head's in the game and
Oh,
I'll be
yeah.
good. I'll
Yeah.
be good. It'll be weird to balance, like, I'll probably have to pump in all of our production meetings, which will be weird. But I, again, don't care at this
Doesn't
point. So
bother you? Yeah.
no, exactly. So everyone else will just have to deal with it too. Like, they'll
Fair,
be, like,
fair.
going over the rundown in the show, and in the background, it'll just be like, "Womp, womp, womp." Don't mind me, guys.
I'll just be back here.
I'm just milking myself back here. It's totally fine.
Oh my god. That's funny. Yeah, but excited to be back out on the floor and, like,
Yeah,
yeah, it's
yeah,
what
and I
you
do
do
feel like
best.
it is, and I do feel like I'm very much in my element when I do that, so I think when I get out there, it'll be good, but I think I'll also have to brush off the cobwebs a little, so I'm
Eh,
nervous. I'm totally
like
nervous.
riding a bike, you've done it so many times. Like,
So I keep
you're
telling
great.
myself. Thank
Yeah, you're gonna
you.
be so great at it.
Thanks.
Yeah.
We'll see.
But I do love, like, women supporting other women, and just, like, it's so nice, like, in a world where everyone tears everyone down,
Yeah.
to be able to, like, "Hey, cool, I want you to do well," like, you know what I mean? And
Yes.
my best friend played professionally. She got drafted to the WNBA, and she played 12 years, like, professionally and overseas and in the WNBA, and she had to transition to corporate world, and she's, like, quickly realizing, like, it's not like that where everyone's on a team and everyone wants everyone to succeed, and some
Mm-mm.
people are, like, not happy for you that you have this role, and not happy that, and don't want to help you out, and make you look bad, kind of. And I was like,
Yeah,
what? And I think for all of us, it's like, I don't have an experience that, I don't know that, it doesn't make any sense to me, and
I
so,
know.
yeah. But that's why I'm like, oh man, as much as we can, it's great. Like, yeah, I'm gonna help, like, how you help me out, and you know what I mean. If anybody, I'll be like, yeah, this is how I did it. I don't know what I did. Like, this is, the
Yeah.
best. This is what I experienced, and hopefully it helps you out along the way.
Yeah, I'm with you.
But
I wish that no one understood that, because then maybe it wouldn't happen
yeah,
anymore. It's so stupid. I
right.
don't understand this weird I don't even know what it is. It's like all rooted in jealousy or in feeling like you need to step on people to get to the top,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
it's
yeah,
just
yeah,
such an
yeah, yeah.
old mentality. Like
Right, right.
I wish we could eradicate it fully. I do feel like we in CrossFit specifically, our community is abnormally supportive. I mean,
Yeah.
there's still people who suck, and the internet is just like a hot garbage fire. But I feel like most of the time, like 90% of the time, if I get like rude comments or like
Oh,
shitty people slide into the DMs, 99% of the time, like they're not following me.
no.
Like
Yeah.
I'm like, first of all, why did you even come here for that? Like my content does not come up on your feed. Like you had to seek me out. So that's dumb. I feel bad
Yeah,
for you.
yeah,
You're
yeah.
clearly wasting your time with like shit that you don't like. But then
Yeah,
also
yeah.
like when it comes to the people who do like follow me or who do like weigh in on my stuff, it's overwhelmingly positive. And I feel like for
Oh
the
my
most
gosh.
part, that's unique about CrossFit. I feel like if you're
Yeah.
playing like if you were in the WNBA and posting that stuff, like the number of people who would come out of the woodwork, I just feel like would be way worse.
Yeah, no, CrossFit is a amazing space. I think it's what the interesting thing is about how when you're done, you go cheer on your competitors, like
Yes.
which no other sport in the world you don't want them to do well. And so it is this very interesting like sport where it's like, whoa, you guys actually like support one another. And you're gonna cheer them on, and you want them to finish the workout, and you want them to. And we're like, yeah, like no man left behind. Like everyone, we want everyone to do well. So yeah, and I do agree. I feel like overall the people, the community, comments, everything is so positive and supportive. Like, people were like, you did so great at Wadapalooza on the broadcast. I was like, really? Like, and so I was like, oh my
Really?
god, really? Okay, thanks. Like, but it really like is so great to have everyone's support and wants you to do well. And so yeah, that's one nice thing about CrossFit.
Totally. Oh my gosh, Jamie, this was so fun. Thank you so much for coming on and just like
Yeah,
I don't
thank
even know what
you.
we talked about, but I loved it.
Yeah, sorry for bringing up the nakedness and
It's the whole point of this show,
okay, okay,
1000%.
okay, got it. Yeah, no, but when you had messaged me about focus on female, I was like, love it. I love that you're doing that, and I'm sure there's so many like women that appreciate this and just are like feel the same way about a lot of different topics, and it's great to like acknowledge it and make them feel like you're doing a great job and you're important and you keep on going. Like everything
Yeah,
will be okay.
totally. Totally.
So
Yeah, and to that point, if you're listening to this and you have ideas, like please, like send us a DM or shoot me an email or comment or whatever it is. Like I do get to them always. It might take me a little bit, mainly because probably I'm busy like feeding a baby. I just attached to my nipple. Always welcome to my dairy farm. But send them my way because I'm actively trying. Like a lot of people have sent in suggestions for the types of folks that
cool.
I didn't even think about originally. So I'm like actively trying to find more people to bring onto the show and schedule more recordings. And so, yeah, any ideas that you guys have, please send them over. And we'll try to keep these types of episodes coming for as long as we can. And I would just say out loud, special shout out to John because he is going to hear this first. And
Thanks,
he's
John.
putting in, thanks, John. He's putting in a lot of time and effort into editing extra shows and getting more content out for Kettlebells and Cocktails. So thanks, John. Thank you. Um, all right, Jamie, thank you again so much
Thank
for
you so
coming on.
much. This was
Of
so fun.
course.
Yeah.
Best of luck to you at Granite. You're gonna crush it.
You too. You're gonna pave the way and set it all up. You're gonna be amazing, and I'm sure everyone's so excited to see you there. So have a
Yeah, I'm
great time.
stoked too. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you
Thanks
so
so
much.
much, Nikki.
Of course. And for everyone listening, we will see you guys next time.